Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe, But regardless, at the end of the day, Dan is still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live, and I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegus or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegus or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegus might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegus, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dan is still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds...
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Rena's Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Rena's Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Rena's Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Rena's Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Rena's Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, Then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alvin.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Rena's Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Rena's Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Rena's Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar, is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man.
Is the Rena's Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegus when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegus proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hefric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Rena's Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma, but it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrecht 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrecht 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the Hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, It went after Dana.
So arresting, this world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
I wonder what Helganquil's civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here?
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Freezing storm!
It's too much!
Our arts are being interrupted.
Try harder! Not a chance!
And tonight's meal is on
no
you.
limit! You guys... to make...
Take this!
Dragon Swarm!
Now! Law! Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Here's a healing art!
Orochi Spirit!
First aid!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Lightning orb!
An astral art?
That's my cue!
In a bind?
Shut him down!
Burning strike! Hear my
Dragon Swarm!
Arts require complete knowledge! Here's evil!
Dragon Swarm!
Breaking storm!
Take this!
Lightning
It's over! I can't move!
Forgive me.
I've
marked
through armor! Not in your dreams!
Take this!
Light accelerator dance in the wind! Air Mega ray!
I must remember my limits.
It exploded?
Don't get caught in the blast! Mega ray! Take it! Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She is strong.
You can be really dense, though, Helene. Like astral energy! Magnificent! Thunderblade! Mega ray! Raging cascade!
Ignite!
Light dance in the wind! Air Mega ray! Photon! Blah, 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 Holy wind!
Ready and ready! No further! Blow away!
Now! Alphen! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alphen!
It's time to end this
Mega
battle!
ray! I'm right beside you! Mega ray!
Demon Prey!
Steel! I'll be
Adversity is
saving
said
this
to be
one.
the best motivation.
Burn!
Wind astral
Here I come!
energy! Whoa! Hey! One at a now! It's astral energy! Full throttle!
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danon slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now...
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean... Wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell? I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Legacies, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. No, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Danon, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danons?
I'd say it's likely. Which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danons. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danons too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, Without a doubt.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
Dragon Swarm!
Fall into my own death!
Your wings won't save you from me.
Come and face me!
Where are you going?
Flying free!
Another incantation ruined.
Sion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
It's over! You picked the wrong fight! Orochi's Fury! Dragon
Arms are being interrupted.
Double me! In an instant! Impact Block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Lunar Rondo!
Illuminate the
Dragon
darkness!
Swarm!
Behold! The Earth pulse! Tectonic fission!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Right
now or never! Stardust! The flame inside the Fury to be let free! Dragon Explosion!
Now!
Sion!
This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash! A merry distraction.
There's still more to go! There! One more! Mega Ray! Here! I'm all
Deity in a bind!
The flame inside the Fury to be let free!
Here, let me help!
Dragon Swarm!
First aid!
Send from the wind! I'm ready!
Redwell! Astral energy! Full throttle!
One more!
Here I go!
I'm not
Illuminate
done.
only getting started!
Lunar Rondo!
Holy glimmer!
I'm ready!
Kikara! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Hurricane Thrust!
Elusive deity!
Hurricane Thrust! Tear!
Hear my call!
Hurricane Thrust! Ignite! Hurricane Thrust!
You are in his
Hurricane Thrust! As soon as I'm done here, I'll come help out.
How could a girl ever say no? As impressive as always.
More Suko?
Keep calm and take them down!
Not in your dreams!
This one's all mine! I'm not done!
Freeze laser! Shining supernova!
Burn in hell!
I'll thank you!
Lunar Rondo!
Elusive deity!
Now! Don't leave! This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash! More of them?
Here I come! I'm not done! Lunar Rondo! Stardust!
Often!
Smash you!
My blackened
No
blade!
escape!
Dragon
Dragon Swarm!
Holy land!
I'm all stuck up! That'll bring you down!
Alright! It's showtime! Searing flame!
I'm not done! This
In a
one's all
bind?
mine. Dragon Swarm! Huh? Not today! Dragon
Now!
Swarm!
Kikara! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Will this help?
More? Here I come! Dragon Swarm!
Mystic mercy!
Shield! Ice prison!
Very circle!
Now!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Elfin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
This one's all mine! Stardust! Not today!
Outstanding form!
Deity!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Pile driver!
I never miss! Do it! Not much longer to...
Astral energy! Full throttle!
More?
Let's give it a whirl!
Here I come!
May 1,000
Dragon
games
Shattering!
Pieces!
None to escape my judgment!
No escape!
Freezing storm!
No escape!
Armor won't save you!
The flame inside is yours to
Bloody
be let
howling.
free!
Here
I come! Lunar Rondo!
Air pressure!
Annihilation! Hear me! Flame of steel!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Photon! Blah blah blah! Magic!
Dragon Swarm!
Instant!
Onward, you good more?
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Not a chance!
Fury!
The flame inside is yours to be let free!
evil!
Stardust!
Can't get out of this!
Stop! That'll bring you down!
Dragon Swarm!
There you go!
mercy.
Don't let up! Raging annihilation!
Very circle!
I'm ready! Darling! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
More? You're mine! Dragon Swarm!
Hear my call!
Crescent flash!
fled! Divine healing! Clear for us a path! Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! Feel the flame inside me yearns to be let free! Soda!
In the wind!
Eat dirt!
Might with blackened blade!
Here!
Hurricane
If it's in
Swarm!
the sky, it's mine!
Take this! Dragon Swarm!
Not on my watch! Lunar corruption!
Orochi!
Ready to go! Do it!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
So I still had room to grow. Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, if we go to... This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Any more of this and I'll burn out. Dragon Swarm! Orochi Fury!
Where are you going?
Plasma Shock! You're mine! I'm not done!
Water!
Lunarondo!
Armor won't save you!
Dragon Swarm!
No further!
Plasma Shock!
Corruption! Thunderblade!
Lunarondo! Here! Hurricane Thrust! This one's all mine! I'm ready! Hurricane Thrust!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Here I come!
Resonate with the earth!
Dragon Swarm!
I don't know what I can
Another incantation ruined!
Perhaps now isn't the time?
Really don't.
Here goes!
more appropriate.
Let's talk some more doing!
Kisara! All yours, Kisara!
Blazing
Pistol!
storm!
Everlasting shock!
Ice tornado!
You're mine! Stardust!
This one's mine!
I'm
Illuminate
not
the
done!
dark!
Stardust!
In a bind?
Holy
It's
Land is
over!
now! Astral energy! Full throttle! Not too shabby, if I do say so myself.
Far more than the power I can conjure alone, that's for sure.
Was that a compliment? I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Come one, come all!
Not in your dreams.
Dragon Swarm!
Your reflexes will not serve you well here.
Orochi Fury!
I'm out of ammo.
I'll smash you!
Plasma Shock!
Denied!
You're mine! No escape!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And pummeling to me!
Hurricane Thrust! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Mega Ray! Photon!
This should do it! Here I come!
Annihilate Supernova!
Take this!
Dance in the wind!
Piss on!
Air thrust!
Eat dirt!
Tempest!
Orochi Fury!
Lightning condensed!
Prepare to be sealed!
Illuminate the
Eating
ground!
pile driver!
That'll bring you down!
Here I
Can't
come!
get out of this!
Dragon Swarm!
Radiant not on my watch! Here!
Is this it?
Don't leave me! Do it!
Winwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Back into the fray!
Forgive me. Anything in armor is all mine!
Magna Ray!
Ready to go!
Lightning Orb!
Far enough!
Glacial Spear! Here! None shall escape my judgment! Vanquish darkness!
No escape! It's over!
Ray! Illuminate the dark! Escape my judgment! Forth, holy glimmer! Holy land! Ray!
Ready and
Annihilation! Hear me! Flame of fury! Require complete focus!
Leave the charges to me!
Dragon Form! Illuminate the dark! Magic is
All stuffed up! Not in your dreams!
Light accelerator patience!
You picked the wrong fight!
Flare toward the
I won't give up!
Stay away from my friend! You're mine! Dragon Form!
Illuminate the dark!
I'll smash you!
Firmament Ranger!
Dragon Form!
Arrow Squall! Take care of...
No! It can't end here!
I can't believe this.
I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it. Guess I misread the landing. These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places favor building stuff with stone, while others rely on wood?
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll have to inquire with Hevrect 35 about it sometime.
I've got a really bad feeling about...
Stay calm. I heard more of this.
Don't burn out!
Annihilation! Flame of fury! Here's evil!
You're mine!
Free blazer!
No further.
Stay away from my friend! Here I come! No escape!
Holy glimmer! Holy land!
Dragon Form!
Glacial spear! Here's evil! May a freezing gator carry you to dread!
Dragon Form!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Dread!
Try hard! Now! Here I
Handle this!
hold nothing back! There!
Lightning
Roach's
raging
Fury!
at
I'll
sea!
bring you back from death to...
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Take this!
Fire's attack!
Let's
Resuscitation!
Burn in
Here,
hell!
let me help!
Sharpness!
Dragon
First
Form!
aid!
A wall to shield from
Here I go!
Lightning attack!
Now! Dueling! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! A merry distraction!
There's still more to go!
Now I can let loose!
Damn it!
Dragon Form!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Dragon
Now!
Ranger!
Here I come! Dragon Form! Thanks! It's done!
I'm sorry to trouble you.
Dragon Form!
Reload! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Another one down!
Your skills are admirable.
Those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
That equipment should come in handy.
Brace yourself! This one's tough! You picked the wrong fight! Here I come! It can hide itself? Amazing!
I don't even know the
Incantation
word
ruin.
defeat.
Luna Rondo!
Take the raid! I never miss! See, not in your dreams!
Make of the abyssal deep.
Clear for attack! Orochi's Fury! Luna Rondo!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Cyan Instant!
Can't get out of this! Dragon Form!
Range Ranger! Lunar Corruption!
Ignite!
Lunar Blast!
Luna Rondo!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy Lunar Corruption!
Luna Rondo!
Require complete focus! Lunar
Hurricane
Blast!
Thrust!
Time's the best medicine is the toughest to swallow too! Light Astral Energy! Photon Blast! Light Astral Energy! I won't give up! I'll take it from here! Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar!
From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with life. It's in your hands now.
I can't lose!
Anything in armor is all mine!
No mind if I do!
I'm not done!
I'll bring you back from Death's Abyss!
It's on!
Tempest Whirl!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll bring you back from Death's Abyss! Photon Blast!
Dragon Form! Ha! Not today!
Here's a healing art! Vanquish Dark!
Luna Rondo!
Let the marksman handle this! Streak!
I can carve through armor!
Freeze Lancer! Light Astral Energy! Dance in the wind!
I'll stop
Where
its
are you
charge.
going? Thanks, Kisara! None shall
It's in your
escape my
hands now.
judgment.
You'll pay for that!
Ray!
Luna Rondo!
Here!
Is this it?
Ammo!
That did it!
Resuscitation!
Here I come!
Steel! Not in your dreams!
You're finished!
First aid!
Okay, here I go!
Dragon Form! Supernova! Raging Cascade!
Eat this! Catapult! Dragon Form!
Amazing.
Healing Circle!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Back into the
My turn!
Spirit Flame!
No escape! Is this it?
Forgive me. This is my fault.
Gusty Nail! I'll bring you back from Death's
You
Abyss!
require a hand.
Denied!
No further.
I can't hold on much longer! Photon confiscated!
Raging
Lunar Blast! Gusty Nail! I'm all stuffed up! Raging Cascade! Into the spread! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Mega Ray!
Pierce through! Demon Blast! Double Demon Blast! No! Can't end here!
Don't give up! I won't give up!
Take this! I can carve through armor!
Air! Raging Cascade! Rage! I'm ready! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Kisara frozen!
Hammer!
We may be a touch beyond our depth.
We barely got a look at this one.
yourself!
Fire!
This one's tough!
Coming through! Not in your dreams! Flame! Reload! Fall into thine own death!
Try harder! My turn! Now!
Barrier! Annihilation!
This one's all mine!
Light astral energy!
I'll take you all on! This one's mine!
I'm only getting started! Light astral energy! Photon blast! This one's mine! Light astral energy! Photon blast!
I'm ready!
Xeon! Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory! Naturally! I'm out of ammo! Photon blast!
Now you see what I can do!
Annihilate! Not in your dreams! Mega ray! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Light astral energy! Photon blast!
I'm ready!
Light astral energy!
Light burst forth!
Radiant genesis! Photon blast!
Raging
Light
unit
dopamine!
form! Light burst forth!
Radiant genesis!
I need to be stronger.
This... might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
This one will be difficult to predict.
You picked the wrong fight! Prepare to be Lunarongo!
Fall into thy
As if the normal
creepy crawlies aren't disgusting
That'll bring you down. Nothing gets by me.
Lunarongo!
Can't get out of this!
Raging Thunder!
Hurricane Thrust!
Far enough.
Here goes!
Lunarongo!
Still no magic is there!
This
Not
one's
on
all
my
mine!
watch! There you go! Don't let up!
Burn in hell!
Radiant light!
Lunarongo!
Reload! Out of ammo! Divine strength!
You're mine!
Watch and
Not a chance!
Mega ray! Here goes!
Strike!
Take the damage! If it's in the sky, it's mine! Air thrust!
Take this!
Photon blah blah blah!
Bloody howling!
Sorry to trouble you.
They do the same to me.
Lunarongo! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Begin!
Lightning blast!
That'll bring you down.
Ignite!
Thermamine Splendor! Mega ray!
Roasted Fury!
Aqua Serpent!
Dragon Swarm!
Mega ray! Annihilation!
Reflect on thy
Not
sin.
in your
They
dreams!
smash it black and
Dragon
Standing form!
Armor won't save you. I'm ready.
Reload!
Will this help?
Keep charging us!
That's what my shield is. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Light astral energy!
fluidity of your movement is simply incredible.
Light astral energy! Photon blast! Where are you going? Light astral... Close one! Right back at ya!
Begin! Can't get out of this!
Photon blast! Light astral... Not on my watch! Photon blast! Annihilation! Light astral energy!
Not today!
Reload! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Photon
Brilliant
blast!
performance! I'll smash you!
Annihilate! Light astral energy! Hold on to your arc! Here I come! Not in your dreams! Light astral energy! Photon blast! Do it! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
The heavens must be smiling.
Really bad feeling about this.
Ignite! Dragon Swarm!
These things really get on my nerves.
I owe you one.
Blind freaks! Why can't they just sit still?
Shia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Soda!
That'll bring you down.
Soda!
Do it!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Dance in the wind!
You're mine!
Thank you!
Here's evil!
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Anything in armor is all mine!
Healing
Now you
circle!
see what I can do!
Thanks!
Lunar corruption! Wind! Energy! Illuminate the blah 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 magic! Holy land! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! There! Mega ray!
Lightning thrust!
How's this? Mega ray! I'll bring you back from death to this!
Come and face me!
I tear you to shreds!
Position, precision, timing. All a perfect 10.
That's it? Nothing else to add?
You take meticulous care of your fire.
Grind and win!
Not today!
Light astral energy! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Do it, Doublebeam!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around!
Certainly
Light
not.
astral energy! Photon blast!
Can't get out of this!
Light astral energy! Arctic one's coming through! Light astral energy! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! My exploits are bearing fruit.
Okay?
Brace yourself! This one's tough!
Mega ray!
You're mine!
Hear me! Light astral energy! Laser spear! Here's light astral energy!
Spot of feast.
Anyone? Take that!
Yours to be led
Bullseye! Photon blast! Here! Light astral energy! Photon blast! Where are you going?
Simply leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And funnel it to me! I'll smash you!
Mega ray! Light astral energy!
Now it's let loose.
Thank you for the healing, gentlemen.
Our comrades need our ability
mine.
to survive.
Right. No one's dying on our watch. Light out in your dreams. Outstanding form. Astral energy. Water. Hear my call. Spread. Hear energy.
Ruin.
I never miss. Light astral energy.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Photon
Lightning
blast.
thrust! Prepare
Light
to
astral
destroy my
energy.
spear!
Photon blast.
Ignite!
Light astral.
I've used too much.
Light not on my watch.
Orochi Fury!
Back into the astral energy. Photon
In a
blast.
bind?
Light astral energy.
Armor won't save you!
Photon blast. Here I go. Light astral energy. Take that. Back into the light ready. Annihilation.
Eternal
Light astral
devastation!
energy.
Raging
Photon
Luma Storm!
blast.
Burn!
Light astral energy. That'll bring you down. Photon blast.
Can you take it?
Light astral energy.
Demon Fang!
Eagle Ray!
Light astral energy.
Double Demon Fang!
Not in your dreams. Light astral energy.
Elusive
Light
Fiend!
astral energy. Photon blast.
Tornado
Light
Drive!
astral energy.
Not today!
Light astral energy. I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this. Deus Roar. Photon blast. Light astral
Can't get out of
energy.
this.
Photon blast. Where are you going? Light not in your dreams.
Now you see what I can do! Elusive
I'm ready! You'll pay for that!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
Really bad feeling about this.
Yours to be let free! Time to cross-blade! Dragon Form! Here I come! You've got fire!
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
All yours!
Charge like that can easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Dragon Form!
Ice prison. Radiant blood.
Here I come! Strike! You're finished!
Anything in armor is all mine! Stalagmite!
Eat this!
Annihilation. Radiant
Dragon Form!
One at a time. Now, water. Astral energy. Full throttle. A flawless victory. Naturally. Where are you going?
It's too much!
If I do.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Dragon Form! Ignite!
On your knees!
Dragon Form!
Storm.
Take this!
Air pressure!
Dragon Form!
Tornado. Wind astral energy. Lightning
Can't get out of this!
Water. Hear my thunderblade.
Now you see what I can do!
This one's all
Magic
mine!
is in.
I'll blind you into dust!
Ha! Ignite!
Holy Fury. Burning strike.
Shows our mystic mercy!
Dragon
Pierce
Form!
evil.
The fluidity of your movements are simply incredible.
Okay,
Is that a healing art?
It is. I can't ignore your
Dragon
pain.
Form!
I'll try to be more careful.
Can you take it?
Here. Damn it. Raging back.
Try harder! Not a chance!
Annihilate field.
Elusive deity!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, Thousand Gales, carry the
Dragon Swarm!
This one's mine!
Victory is within reach.
Dig deep, and we can do this!
Impressive further, little one.
Confiscated! It looks like you got this one covered! Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She is strong.
You can be really dense,
I can carve through armor!
Please now! Let's get you all tucked away!
I'm in your deck, Dope.
I'm ready!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Illuminate your dark!
You picked the wrong fight!
Far enough!
Seismic Rush! Dragon Swarm!
Lightning orb!
Rondo!
Now we're not
Amazing.
Where are you going?
Can't get out of this!
Here goes! Not in your dreams! Here!
Can you take it? Burn!
Extra energy! Lightning condemned! Thunderbolt! Annihilation!
Now you see what I can do! Resonate with the earth!
Dragon
Man,
Swarm!
Thousand Gales, carry you to try the healing art!
Here I go! Try harder! This one's all mine! Burn!
Lightning orb!
Dragon Swarm!
Here I come! Will this help? Astral energy!
Dragon Swarm!
Outstanding form! What would I do without Radiant? Photon?
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now?
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alphen!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Dragon Swarm!
Astral energy! Full throttle! Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
I have a bad feeling about this. Corruption! Light astral energy! Where are you going? Light astral energy! Photon flash! Light astral energy! Photon flash! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Light astral energy! Photon flash!
You'll pay for that!
Light astral energy! I can't hold on much
looking good.
longer!
Finish it!
Neon astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory.
Be still!
Naturally. I'll heal you all! Light astral
Rising Wyvern!
healing circle! Light astral
It's on!
radiant flash!
Ignite!
What would I do without you? Photon! Photon flash! Healing art!
Loki Fury!
Light astral energy!
Double
Photon
Demon!
flash!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Light astral energy! Photon flash!
Armor won't save you! Eternal Demon!
Where are you going?
Double Demon! Bang! Here I come!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy glimmer! Holy land! Ice tornado! Into the fray! Annihilation! Mega ray! I'll bring you back from Death's abyss! I'll bring you back from Death's abyss! Resuscitation!
My pride
I'll
is my
bring you
downfall.
back from Death's abyss!
Can you take it?
I've taken too much damage! Mega ray! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
From
Here I
beyond,
go.
imbue this vanquished
Mega
soul
ray!
with life.
Concentrate!
Prepare to be
Here,
seen.
let me
The
help.
art of being interrupted.
Here,
Shattering the pieces!
here goes! Illuminate the dark!
In a bind,
Here I come!
May 1,000 gales tear you to shreds! Mega Ray! Eat dirt! Confiscated! I never fit! I'll bring you back from hell!
Eat dirt! Elusive deity!
Mega Ray! Air blast!
I think I'm coming down with something grave.
A chronic inability to read the room?
A malady your art cannot fix.
Stay away from my friend!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
You picked the wrong fight!
Resuscitation!
Slap the shot!
That's gonna smart sight! Won't give up! Lightning off! Raging cascade!
I'll smash you!
Spread! Magic is far enough! Sleep now. Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous! Up and out!
Dragon Swarm!
I'll stop its charge! Thanks, Kisara! I'll take it from here! Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Raging Cascades! Spread! Raging Cascades! Spread! Magic is amp! Spread! Blah, blah, blah! Spread! Take care of Poodle.
Let's pick ourselves up and keep moving.
What do you think this place was for?
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No. They appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Danans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegus. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedure somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
So what you're saying is that all of these are Danan, or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
What is... With all the huge lumbering beasts lately?
No ordinary zoo! That much is damn sure! Watch yourself! All bets are off when it comes to this thing!
Anything in armor is on!
Hurricane thrust! Tear! Hurricane flame inside me! Sure! To be let free!
Shield from calamity! Concentration!
Now,
Lunar
hurry up!
action!
Tear!
Hurricane dream! Mega Ray!
Hurricane thrust!
Illuminate
I can carve through all! His head is its weak point? We'll need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's start with the one in the middle.
Here I come! I'll take you! Longo! Struck! You require a hand. Lunar Longo! In a bind?
Lightning!
Eat dirt!
Let the marksman handle this.
Lunarongo!
They might blade.
Dragon Swarm!
Illuminate the
You're
sun.
mine!
That'll bring you down.
A thrilling performance.
Lunarongo!
Searing flame. Reload. Raging cascade.
Anything in armor is all mine!
Seal.
Power
up water. Let's get you all tucked away.
Ignite!
Into the shadows.
Lunarongo!
Gusty nail. I can do this
Here
all
I
day.
come! Hey!
Art expert coming through. Don't mind if I do.
Dragon Swarm!
Raging Luna Storm. Far enough. I never miss. Sleep now. More for the stockpile. Lunar corruption.
This one's all mine! Burn!
I can
Lunarongo!
Now or never.
Take this!
In a bind?
Light astral energy.
I'm nearly done for.
Bestow thy mystic mercy.
Lunarongo!
Here's
Armor won't save you.
Dance in the wind. Burning. Here.
You must be tired of killing me.
I'm merely doing what I can.
Glad you're on opposite, Sylvie.
Raging storm.
Lunarongo! This one's all mine! Burn in hell!
Healing dance in the wind.
Hurricane Thrust!
Here. Pull myself together. Sorry. In the sky. Do the same for me.
Hurricane
Here.
Thrust! Tear!
More
Hurricane
for the
Thrust!
Lunar corruption.
Tear!
Tornado
Here I come!
Fury!
Hurricane Thrust!
Water! Hear my call!
Hurricane Thrust! Hurricane Thrust! Ignite! Hurricane Thrust! Tear!
Get on in there!
Now see what I can do!
Hurricane Thrust!
Damn it! I'm on
Here I come! I'm not
Get
done!
ready! I never fake! One more outstanding
Hurricane
form!
Thrust! Begin! Tear! Hurricane
Feel
Thrust! Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
In a bind?
Tear!
Do
I'm
it.
ready!
Astral energy! Full throttle!
On your knees.
Take it!
Hurricane
I'm
Thrust!
only getting
Tear!
started!
Hurricane Thrust! Tear! Hurricane Thrust! This one's all mine! Eat dirt!
Water! Hear my call!
Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
Glacial spear! Here's the
Hurricane
order!
Thrust!
Lightning strike! Please light if I do!
Hurricane Thrust! Tear!
Execution!
Hurricane
Forgive me. This is
No
my
more playing nice! Here,
Hurricane Thrust!
Watch yourself.
far enough!
Sense incredible power.
Smash you!
Imbue the
Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
Burning strike!
Tear!
Glacial spear! Here's the evil has to fight back in me! Freeze blade! Illuminate the dark!
Take this!
I'm
not done! Tear!
I never miss!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Tear!
It looks like you got this one covered.
Tear! Hurricane Thrust! Tear!
By the power of water!
You're mine!
Annihilation!
Strike! Tear! Hurricane Thrust! Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
Freezing storm!
Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
Elusive deity!
Crush!
I'll smash you!
Tear!
Not in your dreams.
Gonna attack!
Right, watch out.
Hurricane
Astral
Thrust!
energy.
Tear!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Hurricane! Hurricane Thrust! Tear! Hurricane Thrust! Tear!
No further.
Recover! Annihilation! Magna Ray! Annihilation! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitation!
I still got
I'll
some
bring you
fight left
back
in me.
from death's abyss! Thunder! Resuscitation!
No rest
I'll
for
bring
the
you
wicked.
back from death's abyss!
Ready and raring!
Clear for us a path.
I'll smash you!
I'll bring you back from I can feel the medicine working.
Tornado drive.
Resuscitation!
Rotating pile driver.
Here I go!
Hurricane Thrust!
In here!
Tear!
Lunarongo! Instant! Raging cascade! Radiant pierce!
Take
Tornado all day! A freezing storm! Let the marksman handle this!
No further!
Ice tornado!
Resonate with the earth!
Take this!
What was I thinking?
Lunarongo! This one's all mine!
They're not playing
Ignite!
around. Move ready and ready. Holy tornado!
Clear for us to save you!
Radiant here. Out of back into the fray. Annihilation. Wind astral energy.
You're mine!
Water.
Is this it?
Don't leave me. Supernova. Raging cascade.
Another incantation brewing.
Resuscitation!
Forgive me.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Leave
the charges to me!
Take this!
Gale Force!
Far enough!
Here goes! Not on my watch! Amazing! Not long to go now.
We couldn't have done it without you.
Thanks! Come on!
You picked the
Let's
wrong
see when you
fight.
get in there and finish this fight! Holy Land!
That'll bring you down.
I can carve through armor!
There! House it! Illuminate
I couldn't make it in time.
Holy Glimmer! Holy Land!
From beyond, imbue this
Thunder
vanquished soul
Field!
with
I
life!
can't hold on much longer!
Now what? Never. There!
Photon Blast!
Take this! Lunarongo!
Light Astral Energy!
From
Illuminate the
beyond,
dark!
imbue this
Ready!
vanquished soul with life!
Confiscated! They're not playing around! Hit! What was I thinking?
Nothing
Luminate
gets by
Render!
me.
House it!
Far enough!
Mega Ray! Arrow Squall!
The flame inside is yours to be let free!
Raging
Ready for
Storm!
deity! Lunarongo! I can carve through armor!
Light Astral Energy!
Can't move!
Don't give up!
Benediction light.
Here's the healing art!
From beyond, imbue this
Healing
raging lunar storm!
Resuscitation!
Show thy mystic mercy! Not ready yet! You're mine! Lunarongo!
Raging ready! I'm only getting started!
Elusive deity!
Confiscated! Glacial Spear! Photon Blast!
Simply incredible.
It's about to strike!
Lunarongo! Look sharp, everyone! It's over! Raging lunar storm! Now we're on.
Water!
Can't get out of this!
Searing Flame!
Ready to go!
Supernova!
Elusive
Photon
deity!
Blast to the wind! Air
Demon
Club!
light!
Lightning!
Take this! We're not done! Lunarongo!
Radiant Light! Raging Storm! Here goes!
Snake
Power
conversion!
corruption!
Clear for us
Photon Blast! Let the marksman handle this!
Aqua Serpent!
Light Astral Energy!
Not today!
Mega Ray!
Lunarongo!
Seminar Aqua! Illuminate the dark! Time Force! Holy Glimmer! Holy Land!
Far enough! The official you're mine! Clear for us to pass! Dragon Swarm!
There you go! Don't let up! Now!
Rinwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests.
What do you mean?
You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dolinum's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure you all, I was merely stating the possibility.
So, looks like the Helganquil have been engineering Zeugles too. Why doesn't that surprise me at this point?
The creatures we've been encountering here have been a little different to what we're used to fighting, but I'm pretty sure they're Zeugles too.
Do you think they were engineered using creatures native to the area?
Indeed. However, based on the current circumstances, I would guess these Zeugles are all that's left of the planet's fauna now.
You mean, there might have been native owl species here once upon a time too?
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
I think Hoodle senses something.
Did we really just spend that much money?
I always love the sound of hammers
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Shion, but that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right?
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renan and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the... An ambush?
Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zoogle?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zoogle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard!
Why are you staring at me?
I never thought about this until now, Alphen, but doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time? You feel heat and cold again, don't you?
Admittedly, yeah, it can get pretty toasty in this thing.
Is it hard when your back starts to itch?
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff wearing it, even if it's not all that heavy.
Kisara looks like she manages all right with her armor.
Armor takes a strong body and a stout heart.
Spoken like a true guardsman. Not that I really get what you mean.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be. Like, what do you do when you need to take a leak?
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More things to take off.
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor most of the time instead?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth getting killed over.
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Rinwell?
Are you doing this on purpose?
Shion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Shion. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy, but I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
Hey, Alphen, why do you like spicy food so much anyway?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I couldn't feel pain, it gave me that kick I was craving.
But now that you can feel pain again, wouldn't your tastes have changed?
Did you like spicy food when you were younger?
Not as much as I do now. At some point, it just became something almost like an addiction, I guess.
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary food, you cannot help but seek out more unusual fare.
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes. Although I won't deny that you definitely have a thing for exotic food. The stranger, the better.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Alphen.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself. It helps you last longer when you're on the move.
We all know you're a quantity over quality kind of...
What was that?
Nothing. I lost my train of thought.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of food most Renans are. Could be it's got something to do with the way she grew up.
That's so me. Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. All meat, all the time.
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish because she can catch them herself.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with something long enough, it comes naturally to you.
I like fish just fine, but what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade. It reminds me of what my mom used to make.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of meals for younger kids, and they said the same thing.
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the foods they like say a lot about the way they've lived.
What? Hey guys, I don't see any of our food anywhere.
What?
I know! The bag we kept it all in has vanished! Some Zoogles must have gotten in behind us and swiped the whole thing while we were fighting.
What? Huh? What are you guys talking about?
This affects you too, you know! We lost all our food, including all those sweets you love so freaking much!
What? How could this happen? Those sweets are the highlight of my day! Oh, so hungry.
Hunger is like that. The moment you know there's nothing you can do about it, it becomes that much more unbearable.
Whoever did this, I swear I'm gonna make them pay for stealing our supplies.
All that's left now is this one lonesome apple.
Law?
What? Hey, don't look at me like that. I picked this apple myself. I'm not just gonna...
Food. Hand it over.
Stay away!
Hey, I'm back. Huh? What the heck happened here?
Only a poignant reminder of how dangerous a food shortage can be in a collective. A serious problem indeed. And one we should all be mindful of.
I see. Does it have anything to do with why you're holding our food supply bag behind your back?
This is perfect! I'll have everybody's mouths watering when they see this.
Shion, could we talk a moment?
Do you mind if we chat a bit?
Now there's something I never thought I'd hear you say.
Remember when we talked about what it was like for me growing up? Well, I thought it only fair that I also get to ask what you were like as a child.
My childhood? Maybe you missed the memo that was going around, but I can't remember anything of my past.
I know. Just whatever you can remember. There's gotta be something, right?
Let me think. Well, have I ever told you about my army days? Back when I used to serve under a Danon master?
Yeah, but that must have been after you were already grown up, right? Do you happen to remember anything from back when you were younger?
Actually, I remember I had a kid with me.
You had a kid?
No, of course not. The child's father was another soldier. Back in those days, we risked our lives for a master we'd never even seen. We just fought for them and didn't even question it. When that kid's dad died and I saw them sitting there crying, I felt this bitter, indescribable feeling. It was like I was drinking something toxic that I knew I shouldn't, but couldn't stop. It was strange. I never understood why I reacted like that. Soldiers died every day. It wasn't anything new.
What it tells me is that deep down, you were the same man then as you are now. You've never been able to accept injustice in the world.
If you keep talking like that, you're going to embarrass me. I wonder whatever happened to that master and poor kid. Not that there's any way of knowing now. You know, I just remembered that kid was good at sewing dolls. They gave me one once. As a good luck charm to protect me.
Dolls? I think it's time we go to sleep. Morning. Ready to head out? We've reached our destination. I guess this is the flip side of that pathway we were walking on just a little while ago.
This is crazy. Who knew such amazing technology existed? Everything's...
I have a bad feeling about this.
None
shall escape my judgment! Concentration!
Now
This is gonna need all of us together!
Exploit the enemy's weakness. Reflect.
Here I come!
I never miss!
No escape!
Here goes!
Lunar Rondo!
Radiant light!
Take this!
Here! Lightning condemned!
I can carve through armor!
Lightning!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara! I'm all stuck up!
Lunar Rondo!
Thunderblade!
Seismic
If we get objections, Holy Rain requires complete growth by the power of water!
Lunar Rondo!
Does it hurt?
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Dragon Swarm!
Leave the target to me! Power up! Lightning! Blah, blah, blah! Where are you going?
Elusive deity! I'll fake you!
Here's evil!
Hitting pile driver! Tornado glide!
Freeze Lancer!
Seismic
Dance
rupture!
and swing!
Behold! The earth pulse! Tectonic vision! Bestow thy mystic mercy!
Dragon Swarm!
It's in your hands now.
Stay away from my friend!
Don't mind if I do!
Huh? You picked the wrong
May
fight!
1,000 gales carry you
No!
ahead!
Can't get here!
I can carve through armor!
All dissolved! May 1! Come forth and heal in security! I'll bring you back from death to
Raging
this!
lunar storm! From beyond!
Light
Imbue
astral
this
energy!
vanquished soul with
Annihilate!
life!
Photon flame!
Bestow thy
Light
mystic
of
mercy!
strike! Healing flame of fury! This one's mine! Photon
When
flame!
your death will clear.
Light
And
astral
tonight's
energy!
meal is on you.
Suka.
I'll heal you all! Hold on to your art! Here I come! Please don't mind if I do!
Lightning thrust!
Light astral spray!
It's
Close one! Here right back at ya! Photon
Fluidity of your movement.
ready and ready!
Light astral energy! I'm all Photon magic is in! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Light astral energy! Photon will bring you down! Light astral energy! Photon, close one! Right back at ya! Mega ray! Annihilate! Photon, don't mind if I do! Lightning! Light astral
No further.
energy! Photon flash!
Wide open!
Light astral
won't
energy!
escape me.
Photon flash! Light astral
I
energy!
can carve through armor!
Photon flash! Annihilation! Here's an Bullseye! Art field! Don't mind if I do!
Finish it!
Kisara! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! We can really make weapons with this? What are those? They look like Shion's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dana's Great Spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dana's Great Spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dana's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dana exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dana's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's Great Spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Rena's Alma.
Things are different here than on the surface.
So here's a question. We came all this way to Rena on the assumption the Rena's Alma's here, right?
Just don't say it, Law.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
I said don't.
I can understand why you might be concerned, Law, but you need to remember that there are people it affects more directly than you.
Oh, sorry.
We've managed to make it this far believing. Losing faith now won't do us any good. We're better off focusing our anxiety elsewhere.
Such as?
The Great Spirit. If Hevrecht 35's to be believed, our enemy won't just be handing over the Rena's Alma to us. At least, not without a fight.
Not only that, but that same enemy just gulped down more than an entire world's worth of astral energy.
Point taken. It may be strange to say, but when I'm fighting, or at least know what needs to be done, it helps me a lot. I don't doubt myself as much. So thanks, both of you. The floor's on the ceiling and the ceiling's on the floor. This whole thing's making my head spin. Why would they even do something like this?
The Helganquil can bend life forms to suit their will. Nothing they could do at this point would surprise me.
The ceiling is on the floor. That doesn't weird you out?
What good is a team made up of members who all share the same opinions on everything? And besides, when you get to be at my ripe old age, one begins to consider it quite uncouth to show one's true emotions at times.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. You can't be that old.
The sands of time wait for none of us, lad.
Yeah, we'll see. Though at this rate, I guess I'll have to live long enough to get as old as you first, huh?
You will. And when the time comes, I look forward to hearing you change your tune on the matter.
This won't be easy. Don't be such a pessimist.
Far enough! Okay, here I go. The flame inside is yours to be listened to.
They look cute and stuff, but they're vicious.
Can't move!
Don't give up!
Another incantation ruined.
That'll bring you down.
From beyond,
Illuminate
in
the
vanquish
Water, hear my flow. Light astral energy.
resonate with the earth!
Leave the enemy's arms to me.
You can push yourself and get behind us!
I'll be right at Rena in no time.
Arms being interrupted.
Light astral energy. Photon blast. Go get more.
In a bind?
Mega ray. Art expert coming through. Annihilation. Lightning. Not on my watch. Photon blast. If it's in the sky, it's mine. Light astral energy. energy! Where are you going? Photon blast!
You're mine!
Light astral energy!
Deny!
Mega ray! Eat dirt! Photon blast! That'll bring you down! Light astral energy! Do it! Neon! Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory! Light astral energy! Naturally! Ice tornado!
Resonate with the other! Shattering the pieces! Attack time!
Photon blast! Glacial do it! Astral Neon! Astral energy! Full throttle! Take light astral energy! Photon blast! And ready! Light astral energy!
Finish it!
Neon! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Resonate with the earth!
Into the sun! Light astral energy! Photon blast! Light astral energy! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Dragon form! This on! Burn!
I can handle it.
Raging Rena sword! You're mine! Dragon form!
Take this! Reload! Air thrust! Outstanding form! Photon blast! You get the gist! Thunder blade! Hear me! Fling out your dreams!
Dragon form!
Water! Hear my call!
Dragon form!
Red! Wind astral energy!
This on!
Dragon form! If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Ignite! On your
Photon blast! Radiant light astral energy! Photon one's mine! Light astral energy!
Severing, I couldn't make it in time.
Photon blast! First aid!
No dawn
Light
shall break
bring me
midnight.
back from death to astral energy! Photon blast! Resuscitation! And a healing art! Light astral energy! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Photon blast! Chronicop field! Photon blast! I'll take it from here! Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Light astral energy! First aid! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Reload! I'm out of it!
Now you see what I can do! Burn! Eagle ray!
Here goes! Light I can't heal you forever!
In a bind?
Photon blast! Don't mind if I do! Photon, this one's mine! Light astral energy! Photon blast!
Soaring blast!
None shall escape my light astral energy!
Nothing gets by me!
Benediction.
Flame inside me!
Photon
To be
blast!
let free!
Light astral energy! Photon field! Don't mind if I do! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Photon blast!
Shattering the pieces! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got
Do it!
I'll leave it to you!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case. This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing. That's best fielding art. Now I've seen everything. I'll bring you back from death on my tail. Light astral energy. Here's a healing art. Right back at you. Will this help? Photon flip.
Nothing gets by me.
I'll heal you all. Gotcha.
Far enough. You're mine.
Here's a healing art. What would I do without it? Light no more Miss Nice Girl. Light
As impressive as always.
You'll soon see about that.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Light after magic is there.
I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this.
Deus Roar.
Light astral energy.
Mine. Photon flash.
Light astral energy. Doubling.
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis. You don't mess around. Freezing storm.
Certainly not.
Flash.
More Zuko?
Keep calm and take them down. Photon flash. Light astral.
Can you take it? Rising Wiper!
One more.
That's mine doing the
Photon flash. I'm ready.
Can't get out of this!
Light astral energy. Mega ray. Photon
Where are
flash.
you going?
Light astral energy.
This'll be
Light healing dream.
You're mine!
First aid. Light astral.
Being interrupted. Ready and ready! Begin start!
I never miss. Light astral energy. Photon flash. Light astral energy. Get toasty.
Burn strike!
Photon storm.
On your
Light
not
astral
today!
energy. Photon flash. Tornado. Light astral energy. Healing art. Photon
Resonate with the
flash.
earth!
Do it, Kisara. Frozen.
Hammer!
Photon field. Light astral energy. Photon flash.
Resonate with the earth!
Light astral energy.
On your knees!
There. And again.
Hurricane thrust!
Alvin, this ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin.
It's time to end this battle! Can
I'm
you
right
take it?
beside you.
Rising Wiper! Tornado Drive!
Sir,
You picked the wrong fight!
I never
Throbs in
miss.
pain.
Don't mind if I do.
Tornado Drive! In a bind! Finish it!
Here!
Rising Wiper!
This one's mine.
Tornado
Do it!
Drive!
Go for it.
Prepare to crumble!
Watch them.
Begin! Be still! Elusive deity! Tear! Tornado Drive!
Illuminate the dark.
Elusive deity! Tornado Drive! Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite!
Not so smug now.
Elusive
Fight
deity!
better at a distance.
Tornado
Further
Drive!
away, the better. You and I both.
Smash you! Tear! Stalagmite! Tear! Tornado Drive!
Tornado.
Resonate with the earth!
Now.
Shield!
This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes! A merry distraction!
There's still more to go.
Elusive deity!
Arch
Tornado Drive!
Don't mind if I do.
Elusive deity!
Water, hear my call.
Resonate with
Throbs in pain.
In a bind!
Glacial Spear. Here's Photon Flash. Light astral energy. Photon Flash. Light
I'm ready.
astral energy. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes!
Mega Ray. If it's in the sky, it's mine.
We've turned the tables on it.
There are still more left.
Right.
This is
No
it.
time to hope.
Now, Mega Ray.
Rising Wiper! Finish it!
Stelline. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes!
Dance in the wind. There. In here.
Clear for us a path!
Take you up.
Your blade moves like silk. Can't just let my instincts take over.
How fascinating.
On your knees!
Maelstrom. There. All go.
Air pressure!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you. Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
My word. This must be the work of Providence.
Provo what now?
It means destiny. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, though.
This one will be difficult to predict.
Ignite! Now, let loose! Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal.
Exploit the enemy's weakness.
That'll bring you down.
The enemy wields arts too.
You'll soon see about that.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Here, let me help.
Now! You're mine!
We need a raging cat.
The abyssal deep.
Here!
Ignite!
Damn it! Out of luck!
Dragon form!
Being interrupted.
Try this!
Now!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Dragon form!
Here, it's in the sky.
Can't move.
Come on. Don't give up. This one's mine. Move it up.
Elusive deity!
Like astral raging cat. Hold on here. Here I come. I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this. Deus roar.
There!
Here, Photon flash. Not on my watch. First aid. Photon flash.
It's go try this!
Thank you. Go home.
I only did what any other would.
I think you're nicer than you let on.
Photon flash.
I'll smash you!
Like astral energy.
Here I come!
Power of water.
Ignite!
Take not on my watch. Like astral energy. Photon flash.
On your knees.
Like astral energy. That'll bring you down. Photon flash.
Thrilling performance.
Like astral energy.
Wide open!
You won't escape me.
Here's another.
Bloody holiday!
One last one.
The flame is
Another incantation ruined.
Take that. I'm out of ammo. Like astral energy. Photon flash.
You're mine!
Like astral. Mind if I do?
It's go time!
Photon
Take
flash.
this!
Like astral energy. Photon.
Now you see what I can do!
Far enough. Photon.
Dragon form!
Like astral energy.
Photon
Photon
flash.
flash. That'll bring you down. Not in your dreams.
You'll find no mercy.
Photon flash.
What's all mine?
Like astral energy. Photon flash.
Elusive
Like
deity!
astral
I'll
energy.
face you.
Demon Fang!
Behold! The Earth pulse! Tectonic vision!
Photon flash.
I'm ready!
Neon astral energy. Full throttle.
I must keep striving.
You can ease off yourself.
Pot calls the kettle black.
Good advice for all of us, to be honest.
The Zoogles here are putting up a real fight.
That just goes to show how important this place is.
Or perhaps they simply thrived freely.
The astral energy here is so dense. It's like trying to walk through water.
I know the Great Spirit's will is in the center of Rena, but with the world in this state, the entire planet has become its body, right? So doesn't that mean we're already inside it?
I would say that is horrifyingly correct. After all, the further we climb, the denser the astral energy becomes.
What's the matter, Rinwell? Are you not feeling all right?
No, it's nothing like that. It just feels like the energy here is a little more intense than it was before.
You mean Rena's energy?
Yeah, it's like when I made contact with Dana's will in the wedge. It's almost as though I can understand what Rena's will is thinking.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger. Aren't we risking the Great Spirit controlling us if we interact with it directly?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Rena's will is only supposed to control true Renans, like the Helganquil. If we can discern what the Great Spirit is thinking too, we might learn something, a weakness. But just to be safe, let me contact it alone.
Are you insane? Rinwell, you're gonna...
Rinwell!
There was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right? Rinwell? Rinwell, are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think.
What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants, how it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Great Spirit wants to finish the process.
What do you mean, one world? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
Like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but only darkness and light can be found within Rena and Dana, respectively. The Renis Alma, as far as we know, the only host capable of harvesting the astral energy, is composed of all six. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shion's thorns, doesn't it? The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then... well, it's more than a little ironic.
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing an actual plan.
Shion.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, no lords, no crown contest, maybe just peace.
To think, all this started because of the Great Spirit's desire to keep living. The only reason it craves energy is because it's dying from starvation. When you think about it like that, maybe the things it's done aren't so strange after all.
If Rena had been more like Dana, things would have worked out a whole lot better.
It's like Hevrecht 35 told us. The Danon and Renan spirits are meant to be completely different beings.
Rena's energy amassing in one place led to its developing a powerful will. But that also made it crave energy, sapping Rena dry until it perished.
Whereas Dana's energy is dispersed, meaning its will never developed to the same extent. And without that hunger, Dana the planet was spared.
As for which is correct, well, I'm not sure it's our place to even say. Still, I can't help but think it reminds me a lot of the dichotomy of the human condition.
Dichotomy? What do you mean?
Those who know not satisfaction are driven to keep devouring without limit. But those who are content with their lot in life rarely fulfill their potential. I imagine it's likely that the larger Rena's Great Spirit grew, the more and more powerful its hunger also became.
Everything in moderation. When all's said and done, maybe that's the hardest thing for people to learn.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
Again! Go!
Dragon Form! Lunar Rumble!
Those flying creatures are a real pain in the butt! Not in your dreams!
Aim for the weak spot!
Fury! Lightning
Dragon Form!
That one's mine! Light Astrolith! Magic Advance! Thunderbolt! Blah blah blah! Holy
Try
Land!
harder! Take it!
Healing Circle!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Armor won't
Perhaps
save you!
now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Dragon Form!
Got it! Now's our chance!
Elusive deity! Everlasting shock! Stardust! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Burn in hell! Can't get out of this!
Not on my watch! Healing circle! Raging storm! It's in the sky, it's
Dragon
wild!
form!
Light after blah blah blah!
Begin.
Pull my spear! Let me help! Don't get the jet!
Dragon form!
Light after
Elusive deity! Heal away! I'm not done!
I'll heal you! Illuminate the storm! Come forth! Holy healing! Holy land! Heart requires complete focus!
Take this!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Here I come!
Stop that!
Clear for us a path! I'll smash you! Tear! This one's all mine! Hurricane thrust! Ignite! I owe you one! Dragon form!
Here I go! Confiscate!
Dragon form!
It looks like you got this one covered!
Eagle ray!
Vanquish!
Dragon form!
Lunar Storm! Let the marksman
Here
handle
I
this!
come! Dragon form!
Divine Streak!
The tempest engulfs you! These bless on thy sin!
Reload!
They smite with blackened blade!
Burn up!
Better if you don't get out.
Burn! Now or never! Dragon form!
Rising Cascade!
Execution! In a bind?
Anything
in armor is all mine!
Light Astral
Onward.
What was confiscated?
Now you see what I can do!
Thanks, Shield.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
Dragon form! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Kizara! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
Wherever we go on this planet, there are machines littered everywhere.
It's impressive to look at as a bystander. But I sure wouldn't want to live here with all of this around.
I know what you mean. There are no fish here. I couldn't cook any...
I've got a really bad feeling about this!
You picked the wrong fight! Lion!
Light Astral Energy!
I don't know what
Perhaps now isn't the
Light
time?
Astral
I
Energy!
really don't.
Light Astral Energy! Breathing photon blast!
Destruction! Air pressure!
Hold on to your heart! Here I come!
Resonate with the earth!
Far enough!
Photon blast! Light Astral Energy!
I've been hit with something!
Save you! So even a masochist has his limits.
Not feeling so great.
Close one! Photon blast!
Back from death abyss!
Resuscitate that! One last one! A new lease on
Take
life!
this!
Hit!
Can't get out of this!
Failure! Stop evil! Arc shield! Freeze Lancer! Photon let the marksman handle this! Light Astral Energy! Light Astral Energy!
It's in your hands now.
Stay away from my friend!
By the power of water!
Ignite!
Into the shadows! Lightning!
I'm gonna need more than that.
Damn it!
Here I come! Ready and raring! Now you see what I can do!
Far enough!
I can't take it.
That's gonna slow you down!
Okay, here I go! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Don't get in my way!
I'll leave it to you!
I can't heal you forever! Light Astral Energy! Let the Photon Blast! Light Astral Energy! Photon Blast! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Light Astral Energy! Photon Blast! I'll heal you all! This one's mine! Photon Blast! Light Astral Energy!
The enemy wields arc too!
You'll soon see about that! Burning Strike! Hear my call!
Has a most peculiar taste.
Stalagmite!
Another incantation ruined me.
Light astral... I'm... sorry.
I couldn't make it in time. I am not beyond fury. Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite! Resonate with the earth!
Here's the evil!
Stalagmite!
Freeze Lancer!
Behold! The earth pulse! Tectonic vision!
Burn! Dragon form! Explosive ring!
Really?
Dragon form! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
Get careless!
Don't tell me!
Here! Let me go!
Tear!
Another incantation ruined.
Here I go! Kill
Can't get out of this!
Nothing gets by me!
Ignite!
Firmament render!
Now you see what I can do!
Far enough!
Elusive deity!
Annihilation!
Soaring fly!
Searing flame! Dance in the wind!
Take it!
Shield from calamity!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Guys, I'll leave it to you!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! I'll heal you all!
Very good! Is this it? I couldn't make it in time.
Art expert coming through!
From beyond.
Sorry, you do the same for me. Astral energy!
Our arts are being interrupted.
Photon flash!
I'll smash you!
I'm all Mega ray!
Benediction light.
Right, Archimate! Photon enough! Light astral energy! Mega ray! Photon flash!
Burn in hell!
Light astral energy! Here goes! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Photon flash! Light astral energy! Photon flash!
No further!
Light astral energy!
Bang!
I never miss!
You'll pay for that!
Benediction light.
My turn! Here I come!
Imbue this vanquished soul with life.
Try this!
Healing circle!
Explosive ring! Thanks!
Water! Hear my call! Fight left
Raging lunar storm.
Dragon swarm!
in here!
Shattering
Impactful!
Explosive ring! This one's all mine! Burn!
Freeze Lancer!
Imbue this
Dragon
vanquished
swarm!
soul with life.
I'll be the
Explosive ring!
I've still got some fight left in me!
I'll smash you!
Hurricane
Pull
block!
myself together!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Arch shield! Flame of fury! Now!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Hear me! Flame of fury!
Begin!
Hear my call! Red! Glacial spear! Here's evil! Light astral energy! Where are you going?
get out of this!
More where that came from!
Shattering the pieces! I can carve through armor! You picked the wrong fight!
Light astral energy! Photon flash! Light harness for come through! Light astral energy! Photon flash! Light astral energy! Photon flash! Lunar corruption! The close one! Right back at you! By the power of water!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Light astral energy!
The abyssal heat! Dragon Sword!
Instant! Illuminate
Aqua Serpent!
Not on my watch! By the power of water! There you go! Don't let up! Reload!
Watch yourself.
It's over!
Incredible
What
power.
would I do without a
Dragon Sword! Try this!
Take that!
Raging Lunar Storm!
Denied! Air thrust!
Dragon!
Resonate with the
The
earth.
flame inside me yearns to be let free!
This one's air thrust! That'll bring you down!
Rending you apart! Dragon Sword!
Resonate with the
Try
earth.
this!
I can't heal you forever! Strong flight!
Can't get out of this.
Thanks!
Lunar corruption! No more Miss Nice Girl!
Dragon Swarm!
By the power of
Try
water!
this!
Explosive
ring!
Thank you for the healing, Zolan.
Don't mind
Our
if I
comrades
do.
need our ability to survive.
Right. No one is dying on our watch.
Explosive ring!
I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Here's a healing art. Now, Law, get toasty!
Burn Strike!
Step back. This one's all law.
I have a bad feeling about
Anything
this.
in armor is all mine.
Lion!
Now you see what I can do.
Here you are!
Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
Orochi Fury!
Light astral energy! Don't leave me!
Nothing gets by me.
Light astral energy! Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
You, this vanquished soul of
Light
light!
You
Dare strike me from
Light
behind?
astral energy! Photon blast! Light astral energy! Here's another! One last one! Photon blast! Corruption! High aqua! Take that! Lightning Photon blast!
All yours, Kisara.
Lunar corruption!
Rising
Photon
Watcher, burn!
blast! Light astral art expert coming through!
I'll face you.
Photon astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done! Do it, Falcon! Astral energy!
Say no more!
It was a close thing.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Burn in hell!
Primed and ready! Light astral energy! Photon flash! Where are you going?
Demon Fang!
Light astral
No
energy!
further!
Photon
Destruction!
flash! Not in your dreams!
Armor won't save you.
Demon Fang!
Photon flash!
Demon Rat. Far enough.
Light astral energy!
Not the shot!
Failure's not an option! Light astral energy! Photon flash! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! Photon flash! Water! Light astral energy!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Soaring
Be careful not to overdo it.
One song.
None shall
We'll do
escape
better.
my judgment! Not in your dreams!
Sword Rain out!
No more playing nice!
You'll pay for that!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Demon
Light
Fang!
astral energy! Photon flash! I'll bring you back Light astral energy!
It's go time!
Take that action!
Rising Phoenix!
Ready to go!
I can carve through armor.
Azure Storm! Demon Storm!
I'll stop its charge! Thanks, Kisara!
Sorry. I didn't want to put you out.
What are friends for if we can't depend on one another?
You're right. I'll bear that in
Lots
mind.
of fight left in me!
No dawn shall break
Photon
this
flash!
night! Dance on the wind!
Photon flash! Ready to go!
The enemy wields arcs too.
You'll soon see about that.
Is this it? I couldn't make it in time.
Light astral energy! Flame of photon burning strike! Light astral energy! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Lunar photon flash! Lunar blast! Light astral energy!
Anything in armor is like with slackened blade. I can carve through armor.
Mega ray!
Denied.
Photon power of water! Ready! Mega ray! Photon Gemini aqua! Hit! Go get him! Not on my watch! Take it! Go! Go! Mega ray! Light astral energy!
I'm ready.
Demons descend!
Flashing bang.
Hey! Anyone else think this might be a touch too dangerous?
Ridwell's right. We should fall back to regroup and try again later.
So those thorns of Shion's, they're really a part of Rena's great spirit?
Most likely. But only a small fragment of it in the big picture. I don't sense a will of its own emanating from them.
If it's that insignificant, is there that much point getting rid of it?